Hello again. This is actually today is Christmas Eve 2011, so it's a quiet moment where I thought I'd get just one more of my favourite poems on uh, on the film that I'm doing now, which will be transferred to a disc at a later stage. This film speaks of the troops in the First World War. First World War was 1914 to 1918. It was an horrific war. It was fought with soldiers for the first time with machine guns, artillery, aeroplane, early model tanks, and run by generals who had been trained to fight with sabres and spears on horseback. They had no conception of to how to charge a machine gun and expect survivors to come out at the other end. But they kept, from their headquarters in Paris, they kept sending those orders to the front line, and the British and French and other soldiers and our friends from the Commonwealth, Australia too, would be the cannon fodder for the generals' incompetence. My father was amongst them. He very early in the piece, he lost his right arm and shoulder and shot in the leg, and he was brought up without an arm and a shoulder, clearly, and it affected his whole life and his family's life too. But he was still a great man and much loved by his fellow members. This particular poem speaks of a group of soldiers from the front line who'd been there shelled and attacked for some days, maybe 10 days, and then relieved. New troops came up and replaced them, and they were marching away from the front line towards rest and recreation somewhere 30 miles behind the lines. So on the way that they were on that journey, they were still under bombardment of the mustard gas, which was taking place also with this horrific war where millions and millions of soldiers died from both sides of the conflict. So the poem is by Wilfred Owens, born 1893 and died in France on the front line in 1918. He writes, Dulce et decorum est. Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through the sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched to sleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, blood-shod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf to the hoots of tired, outstripped the gas shells that dropped behind. Gas, boys, quick, gas! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out of the stumbling and floundering rings like a man on fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes of thick green light, under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon where we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his hanging face, like a devil sick of sin, if you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from a frost-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as cud, of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie Dulce et decorum est pro patri